Welcome back. We got another exciting video on Statue Day. We just did the War Tank, War Machine. We did our Iron Man Mark 7 bust by Queen Studios. And now we are doing our 1/3 scale Magneto. This is a legendary beast. I got this from Spec Fiction. And this one is a monster. If you know from Comic-Con Singapore is when it debuted. You had Captain America that released a long time ago. You had Thor, really awesome statue. And now you have Magneto. And this is the Premier Edition, which comes with the orb. And I believe it comes with extra head sculpts. But a lot of different switch outs on this one. And I think it has an extra hand as well. Don't quote me on that on the Prestige Premier Edition. But I do know for sure that the orb is something that comes with this edition. So this was running at 1780, and yeah, that's a little high, but it is a 1/3 scale. A lot of extra stuff you get with this. So, but let's go ahead before we get into that. Let's just go ahead and start putting it together, and just let you know we'll be doing the Justice Buster next. And that's gonna be awesome because we're gonna do a side-by-side with our War Tank back here. So let's go ahead and start piecing this together. Let's start by just putting on his, let's put on the main torso. Pretty awesome. Very dense, very heavy. And this has one big peg, just like that. Here's his cape, pretty cool cape. A lot of motion, ripples in it. Oh, there we go. We just had to tilt it back just a little bit. So let's go ahead and throw. We got two switch out arms. That's going to be on his left arm. And let's go ahead and just throw this one on there. Let's go ahead and go with this one. All right. And put on, looks like we have a switch out for the left hand. So you can go with the standard fist. But of course, we want to use our more intricate fist. So we ended up getting, we got all our little pieces put on there, and man, there was a bunch of small little pieces that go around this thing. And I'm surprised they did that, because a lot of these pieces could have just been part of the statue. For instance, you have little pieces kind of like this right here. This is actually a piece that goes on. It has a peg on it. And it has a metallic surface that kind of goes with it goes on the satellite base. I mean, I don't think they really needed to make that a part. It's just one more piece that can break there. Of course, with all these, you probably want to get those removable. But for the most part, for the regular edition, this is what you're gonna get. So let's go ahead and put our orb on, our magnetic orb, and that is basically what the Premium Edition is. As you can see, these things are pretty gigantic. So a lot bigger than I thought they would be. All right, there is our first piece. Okay. Okay, and so that's it. We are set up. Check that out. So that is it. Now, as you can see, like I said, video doesn't do it justice. This thing is huge with this orb on there. So you're gonna definitely need some real estate to display this thing with the orb. I can see why a lot of people probably won't use these. When you look at pictures, it doesn't really show you the actual size of this, but it is huge. And not only by width, by height too. So let me grab my tape measure. And just to give you an idea, you know, just looking at the height, you're looking at about 33 and a half tall. So that's not gonna fit in a lot of our display cabinets. And width-wise is not too bad. So from orb, back of the orb to the front of the orb is about 21 inches, so that's not bad at all. If you didn't have the orb there, we would only be looking at about 15 inches all the way up. Width-wise, that's a different story. With the orb, 36 inches, so it's 3 feet in diameter. So if you are not in width, so if you took your tape measure, you know, you look at 3 feet, that is very wide. And then, but even without the orb there, you're looking about there to the end of the set, about 24 inches. Without that flat satellite piece, it's about 19 inches. So if you took off the orb and took off this piece, which you probably really don't need, the satellite panel, it would fit a lot nicer than the way it is now. So you're gonna have to have a nice wide open space to display this thing. First impressions, again, I can't really point as too many flaws on this. Looking at the base, it's a satellite and it's just damaged to hell, especially on the top side. And a lot of detail on every surface. It's textured, has all metallic and black paint all over it. And you just have a lot of satellite pieces just bent up and damaged throughout the statue. One thing I really like with statues in general is to have the motion, especially with the cape there. So I have a lot of statues that are like that. And if you got the new Darth Vader sideshow, Darth Vader Mythos, that's a good example. It really just gives a statue some action, some movement, and some flair. And it really gives a statue some character. So just going up there, he has a textured suit there. Now, looking at the muscles, there's always some kind of complaint about disproportionate, over muscular statues. And I know I have another Magneto with an orb just like this, but it's a quarter scale. It's a little overbearing muscle tone, but this one actually looks very proportional. And I could say this is a little more detailed than the other one, but my other one, he's kind of skinny here, but then he blows up in this massive amount of musculature. So, but this one looks very proportional, and it looks good. It looks good, in my opinion. So, but man, I've never seen abs like that on a real person. You got some textures on the suit, just showing that, you know, it's just a little wrinkled up. He's bending his leg up, so it's not just a smooth surface there. And you have the same thing in his suit. And one thing in his suit, you could even see the muscle detail. Even the veins are popping out of his muscles, which is pretty cool. And then you have the metallic purple collar. This is the classic Magneto collar, as well as on his glove there. Now, this one is supposed to be on this side, but I think we're just gonna leave this one out. Of course, I think most of us will be using this switch out there. Let's take a look at our portraits there. So this is probably the one I like. You know, he's in action right now, so I think that's a good portrait to use. This one's just kind of a neutral stare. Let's see what that looks like. Kind of gives it a little different look there. This one's similar to the first one, it's just he doesn't have his mouth open, he's just clenching his teeth. Still a really cool portrait. And they did a very good job on these portraits, a lot of detail on his facial features. And let's look at the last one. A lot of people like to use the standard helmetless portrait. And I do like it too. Just because you get a little more detail on the hair with the hair showing there. So he has a pretty standard look. They have a little more detail on the eyes on this portrait. So actually, even this one without the grimace, you actually have the eyes are visible as opposed to these are just white. But I think we're gonna go with this one. I think that one's probably my favorite. Pretty cool. Now, I could probably say, I'm gonna say this is probably the most up-to-date, detailed design or Magneto overall on the market at this time. Of course, at this time, we're always seeing new Magnetos out there, but I think this one's just a little different because, you know, it does incorporate this. I have another Magneto, a custom, that has one kind of like this, but it's a solid globe. And it's just a little different because you see so many Magnetos and they're all the same, it almost seems like. So this will be a good addition. But of course, this one's 3rd scale. So it's really not going to match up with the 1/4 scale pieces. But if you're using this as like the centerpiece of the X-Men or something, this would be a really cool, you could probably even use the 3rd scale. Anyway, if you see behind me, we got War Tank War Machine. We got Iron Man Mark 7 bust that we just unboxed, and we have Justice Buster we're doing right here next. So join me on that. Please subscribe. Do appreciate the support. I hope you like this Magneto, and this is still up for pre-order, so you can still you know, grab that if you like this statue. So anyway, join me next video. We'll see you next time.